Okay, so today's stream is gonna be, you're gonna teach British the real English to us, right?
Yeah, hopefully people can learn a lot from today, just like I will be. British English, which is what I'm used to, is quite different in a lot of different ways, and so hopefully you guys can learn a little more about the kind of way that I talk to the people from my own country, and also maybe a few interesting slang terms as well, like something you might have heard out of a certain Fox detective friend of mine.
Okay, ではやっていきましょう。Okay, sorry, I said Japanese for some reason. And
sometimes in English you will have a word that can mean multiple things based on context. So is that in American, the word trunk, in British English, we call it the boot. The same word as you would use to describe a shoe, the boot. So the trunk of a car, for us, we call it, stick it in the boot. You know, you've got like the way, like the boot of a car.
we are such a good artist.
Beautiful artist. Look at that. So that's
modern
art. That's a car.
Wait, so how do you call boot in British English?
It's also a boot.
Oh, it's also a boot. Okay.
Yeah, so both of these, whereas in America they would share the word trunk for the boot of a car with an elephant's trunk, like
Oh, so the nose part, you guys call it trunk?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. That's actually very new for me. Thank you, Professor. If an American English speaker gonna say, okay, I'm gonna pick up my boot from my trunk, it's gonna be so screwed up.
And do you know what's even more confusing? We also have a pharmaceutical store called Boots. And so if in some universe you left your car parked outside Boots, with your shoes in the boot, you would say, "Oh, let me get my boots from the boot at Boots," and that would be a sentence that makes perfect sense.
There is something very similar to Japanese and Chinese as well. 老婆 in Chinese, it's exactly same letters, but if you say that in Japanese, it's gonna be loba. It's mean like old woman. Modern day, if you say that, it's more like not very respectful if you say that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's really hard to write, but it means wife. And if you say exactly the same thing in Japanese, maybe your wife gonna kill you. So it's kind of interesting. What is it?
This, in American,
fry.
Or French fries. Just some salt on it, make sure that it's nice and tasty. But in the UK, we call these chips. Chips are a very thick, sort of fluffy potato snack, but they are much, much thinner, the kind that you would get at McDonald's, for example. In American, fries refer to, in English, both chips and fries, whereas in America, chips would refer to potato chips, which we would call crisps.
I thought fries is all chips in British, but I didn't know you guys call fries as well.
Yeah, we've definitely been affected by American English quite a bit over the years. Good morning, Millie Parfait of Etheria.
Hello, Mr. Milord. Innit. Do you say innit? Do you like your cookies with... No. You like your biscuits with gravy?
I think biscuits mean something quite different in the UK. We definitely wouldn't have them with gravy. Biscuits with gravy sounds really odd. I mean, it might be alright, but I don't know if that's for me. Yeah, biscuits to us are just like crackers,
Would you be willing to try it?
Sure, it does sound alright.
Okay, yay! He's gonna eat it, yay!
Kids will find hilarious is that we are used to calling underwear pants, but then in America, they would call your entire trousers pants.
My native language is Japanese, and in Japan, Japanese pantsu, we call it. Pantsu. It's underwear. I think we got that from UK, British English.
Interesting, okay.
Let me try to teach you the next one. Oh, this is very important. 你写了门. I'm not even sure how to translate this. I'm asking
really?
For help.
Interesting.
もうなんなのあいつマジで。一番優しい暴言教えてください、中国語の。
一番優しい暴言。你写了门いいね。你写了门にしよう。
どういう意味ですか？
写了門。邪道名みたいな意味かな。
に写了門。
もうこもってるもんな、感情が。
It's kind of when something is so weird or something is
What's the word? A degree of
what's
like
wrong with you? Sounds like,
distaste.
what's
so-
wrong with you?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Yes.
I like the pronunciation going higher on the xie. Like that really makes it sound like you're so annoyed with whoever you're talking to.
Oh my God.
I think that's really good. I love that.
They want me to teach something, but I'm not gonna teach you something. Since Vox is trying to be say-so, why not? So I have to help
we
him.
can only be say-so in a given moment. I mean, language learning is always very sort of conducive to more polite, more sort of family-friendly atmosphere. But I am who I am, and I will bring things into the realm of bannable offenses if I possibly can. Let's move on to some fun slang terms. This one you might have heard of from again from my good friend Mr. innit. Is an abbreviation of isn't it?
In sounds
so
like,
you might say,
in,
so it's hot today, isn't it? But in British English, it's hot today, innit? In the type of accent that would pronounce innit, innit is sort of a colloquialism to given groups that live within the UK. They would tend to not pronounce the T at the end. So it would be more like innit, innit, and you would sort of
also,
lose
no
the T.
sound.
But also, in hot, you would lose the 8. So it would be more pronounced, less so as it's hot today, innit, and it would be it's hot today, innit.
It's hot today. And
Yeah, let's go. No, that was good.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's hot today, innit?
Oh,
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So
No,
that's
that's
kind of
all right.
interesting. Like you guys don't even talk. Like you don't no person like no H. Drop the H for the hot.
Yeah, well, the thing about British English is that it varies wildly from where you are. So, in sort of this central English, perhaps, like sort of, we call it the TV presenter voice. You would pronounce the H. You would say, "It's hot today, isn't it?" That's a very sort of traditional, sort of upperclassman British accent. Whereas, sort of, maybe in nearby areas around London, maybe Essex, those sort of areas, you would say, "It's hot today, innit?" We tend to associate it with kind of like a class difference, but also it can be widely dependent on location as well. So while not all British people would drop the H and the T on the end of innit, some accents don't, some accents do, and there are quite a few of them to get used to. There's also I just saw someone in chat say, "You're hot today, innit?" And I was like, "Oh, thank you." I'll ask you this: what do you think that the word these both mean the same thing? What do you think fit and peng?
Fit sounds more like you're so fit or you're fitting something, isn't it?
Not quite. Not in a slang context. No.
You are hot.
Yes. It basically means sexy. Let's say, for example, you and your mates, you were walking down the street and you see a beautiful or sort of like a sexy lady walk across the road on the other side. What you would do is you might say, I think it's fairly normal where we're from. Some people might find it a little bit sort of like vulgar, like a little bit mean, sort of to call someone in this way. But you would describe her as a fit bird. Bird means woman and fit means sexy. It's a very vulgar way of flirting with someone, or a very sort of like it's definitely not a polite way of flirting with somebody, but it is a phrase that we have. Whereas peng, you might pair with the word ting.
Ting. Oh, it does sound like okay, pen ting.
It's very, very, very simple. Peng is sexy and ting is thing. So you call someone, or yeah, mate, she's a peng ting, innit? That would mean she's a really sexy thing. But I think peng ting is a way of like, it's almost like you're looking up to someone and you're complimenting them a lot more, whereas fit bird would be a way of kind of like putting somebody down. Like you'd be saying she's sexy in sort of like in a much more vulgar and lascivious manner, certainly.
You can say this in Chinese. La.
La.
Originally, it means spicy, hot. I guess it came from hot, maybe. I'm not that sure.
So what does this translate to exactly?
Waifu, you're so hot.
Lao po hao la. I know we're kind of coming to time at the moment, but I want to say seriously, this collab and this environment in which we've been able to kind of learn together and teach together, this would not have happened if it wasn't for you being so proficient in both English, Chinese.
Wait a second. There's a wrong way. Okay.
That
my
makes sense.
God.
I saw chat saying they were really confused, and I was like, "Oh, that must be right."
Okay, that's what I told you. Okay,
Right.
Professor Kyoka told you there's a tian, and what I typed is tian. Tian means lick. Tian means sweet. So
what was it? So it was roughly translating to like you are
stop,
instead of you are
stop.
sweet. 你好赞
Oh my god.
I have licked you.
Jordan. Oh no.